Adventurers in Audioland, welcome again to Point Noir. I'm your host, Jerry III, aka Kimono Jack, and here keeping the vibe alive. It is session 5 here at the Point. Thanks for joining us, and if you're with us so far, listening to 1 through 5, we appreciate you. You a real one. You a real one. Holler at us at 55. Today we have another awesome traveled brother. I know you guys are going to enjoy it, but I just wanted to get some other house cleaning out the way. Make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast on the Anchor app, on the iTunes store, wherever you find this available. Leave us some feedback. I'm available on Instagram at Jerry_the3rd, and would definitely love to hear your opinion of the show, the guest. If you're getting any value, some insight out of it, talk to me, baby. I'm out here. Other than that, I wanted to remind you guys that we are sponsoring passports for men of color who want to travel. So, again, slide in those DMs. Let me know if you got a brother, a bae, a bro, a cousin who's trying to see the world and could use some support. The struggle's real out there, y'all, and we just trying to do something positive for the community. So hit me up. Today's episode is going to be lit, as always. So, let's get into introducing our guest. Joining us on today's session, we have another traveled brother, Ty Cunningham. You can follow him on Instagram at BlackPhoenix26. That's BLK Phoenix26. And we just jam and talk about things like pass cards, which I had never heard of before, his experiences traveling domestically and some of the perspectives he's gained, his most recent trip to Morocco, and his new inspirational, motivational clothing brand, YGTS, aka You Got This Shit. Make sure to follow them on Instagram as well, at officialYGTS. And for the rest of it, y'all stay tuned. We're going to jump into the session. Hey, what's going on, Ty? Thanks for joining us today at The Point, bro. How you feeling?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Of course. I was in Paris not too long ago, and I saw you had this super fly shirt from Morocco. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, Morocco, man. The outfits were hitting when I was there.
Bro, was that a custom thing or no?
No, I mean, they're kind of custom made, but there's this Instagram app that I follow. It's called No Tribe Clothing. I don't know if you heard of it. And I think that's the name, and I'll definitely confirm. But I always look at their outfits here and there, and I just thought like, there's some Morocco inspiration that I saw, and just had to get them. So.
Bro, it was wavy. So I clicked on the pic. I was like, what's this bro up to? Because I know about some fashion overseas. Let me see what he's getting into. So I'm glad we could finally get some time, some free time together and talk on the show. So why don't you start us off and tell us a little bit about you and travel?
Yeah, man. So first thing I like to do, this is a good icebreaker, man. I'm the oldest of 10 children. Single mom. Yeah. So 10 children. What is it like? 6 girls, 4 boys. Yeah, so single mother, born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. I am a Cavs fan. We will not discuss any sports on this show.
Oh, so, especially on such a timely day. We want this to be a timeless episode. So y'all do your Googles. It is the 3rd of June, 2018. Do your Googles, yo.
Here we go. But so yeah. Cleveland, Ohio, born and raised, went to school, Kent State University. Funny thing is, my career has been in property management, real estate with a focus in the student housing sector. But I went to school for theater arts and entertainment management. Totally nothing to do with management, real estate, or anything like that. Right. And a lot of my travel, a bulk of my travel has really been domestic travel in the United States, of course. Most recently, Morocco. A lot of time I was spending in Toronto. I just love that city. It's like a baby New York, except in my opinion, a lot cleaner. People are a lot friendlier. I still got that up north weather, but yeah, that's kind of where the bulk of my travel has been so far. And
okay, that's what's up. So the majority, has it been through work, through real estate, that you've been able to travel domestically?
Yeah, so that was anywhere from in Denver, Colorado, Portland, Maine, Texas, and just all over, mainly a lot on the East Coast, started more pushing out more so in the West Coast, and then, leisure trips a lot of time, spending time in Cali and other places like that, a little bit for leisure. DC was home. I used to bounce there a lot. back and forth, brunches, day parties and stuff, that kind of
DC
vibes.
day party,
Come
people
on,
do not
DC day
know.
party. They don't know. And when I tell you, see, when I moved to places, I moved there and I've never been there before,
Right.
and I moved to DC, didn't know anything about DC. I'm still wondering to this day, how did I survive working and going to day parties and brunches, and be able to survive in that DC kind of limelight. But yeah, people do not know. I say when I go to a brunch, if I go to a brunch and I try to describe it, is it like a DC brunch? And if people say, what's a DC brunch like? Then I know there's no vibes for the brunch that I'm gonna go to.
Right, right. That's just facts. And here in Dallas, I just moved to Dallas about a year and a half ago, and people do their day party thing. The margarita was invented out here, but that's not quite the culture. So when they say day party, I'm like, yeah, whatever. That's cute and all, but this ain't no DC day party.
Exactly. Day party, DC, you already know, you wake up, you go, you party and you still having brunch, stuff like that. The day party's over what, like at, almost 6 o'clock, 7. You basically
Right.
went out for the night, so me, being a guy, I'm like, man, I already went out for the day. I ain't even got to go out tonight. I had a full blown party, nightclub scene in the daytime. So yeah, nothing like unlimited mimosas and stuff like that in DC.
Exactly. I order my mimosas. I ask them to hold the orange juice. Just give me the champagne. I'll be
Just a
good.
little bit of orange juice, or I ask for a mimosa, and have them throw things in there such as vodka, maybe tequila sometimes. So, and tell them to
Right.
put it in a normal, beer glass instead of a champagne glass. That's when it's getting real.
Right. Save yourself the trip on the refills because I'm not tipping for every trip. Um,
Exactly.
but back to travel. What kind of inspired you to even move domestically? I really do appreciate stories of domestic travel because as a traveler, domestic and abroad, you realize a lot of people never leave home, and there are
Mm.
opportunities in my line of work, specifically around consulting, where people say, "No, I want to stay close to home. I'm familiar here." So I think it's admirable that you would even want to have a career that involved moving and changing location a lot. What's kind of the appeal for you in seeing these new places or being on the road like that?
Yeah, that's true. So, normally on a role, in a traveling role of portfolio sales and marketing manager, overseeing a lot of different assets in different states is what kind of pushed me to have that domestic travel. So my travel was basically weekly, man, a Monday through Thursday type of deal every single week, in a new place, whether that was, like I said, that was Portland, Maine, Denver, New York, Illinois, wherever it had been. And what inspired me to do that is I knew when I started in property management, I wanted to oversee multiple assets, and be a
Hmm.
big support for them. And there's a traveling role, and there's so many different names for roles and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they have the same duties more than likely and whatnot. And once I was promoted, I was like, all right, bet here it is. I'm literally in an air every single week, in a hotel every single day. Basically, that was my life. Sometimes I didn't even know where I was at. Most of the time I would just get on a plane and go. But the biggest thing I wanted to get out of that is on my travels. I wanted to actually take time and enjoy the place, not just kind of go there for work. Because I feel like if
Right.
you do that, you're not taking advantage of the opportunity that you're traveling, you're going to some different places. So I would make sure kind of leave a little bit early from work if I could, depending on the day, or any projects that I was working on. Go explore the city or even small town, wherever I was at, and just take some leisure, even if that was for a nice lunch or dinner, sitting by a lake or a pond, and kind of embracing that. So just going out and being able to take advantage of not just the work aspect of it, but the actual leisure of it, um,
Hmm.
was big for me.
Yeah, I think that's a great philosophy. And I think I've always translated that to say, to talk to the difference between being a tourist and what I consider a traveler or adventurer, just adding those different cultural elements. And I'm curious to know, was there anything that really stood out as you started this process of, hey, I'm gonna leave work a little bit earlier, or maybe I'll extend my trip by a day? Like, what has that added to you as a person in all your experiences? Let's even just talk domestically.
Yeah, I mean, domestically, coming from Cleveland, Ohio, like I said, I'm not gonna say we don't have a lot of opportunities and things like that, but my background and stuff, it was a little bit more sheltered. I mean,
Hmm.
my first time on a plane was traveling for work. I hadn't been on a plane before, and really none of my family has been traveling, even domestically. So traveling domestic was a big thing for me, and being able to go to different places and stuff, it was a different way for me to see not just, when we think about culture, when we travel internationally, that's when we really think about, oh, there's a different culture, people are a little bit different. Here are the ways they're living, but traveling, domestically, you still see a different culture when you go from city to city. I mean, I'm
Right.
pretty sure the culture is different in Texas than it might be in, Portland, Maine, with the people from there. So it's kind of like, being able to kind of kick back, relax, see the beauty in different places, embrace the culture of whatever city and town that is, and to truly, be able to share that experience because a lot of us don't get to travel as much, let alone domestically.
Right. Absolutely. And you're right. There's so much variety within the United States that we sometimes fail to realize and appreciate just how much we have between landscapes and environments to,
Exactly.
different cultures of cities. You might get locked in. I'm born and raised on the East Coast, so you might get locked in that and say, okay, East Coast, Beast Coast, which I do say, but I've been in the South. I've been, to the Midwest. I've been in
Yep.
Texas, the Southwest. So you do get to pick up on those different vibes. And I'm actually really curious. Um, what have you found to be the most effective way to do that? Showing up to a city where you don't know anybody and finding a way to truly tap into the culture.
I thought I would never be that guy to go to a bar and to sit by myself. Okay, like
Right,
I said,
right,
I won't. It took me a long time just to get used to sit at, even if I go to a restaurant, I sit at the actual bar. I get a whole table, a whole booth to myself. Say, let me, I'll sit there.
right.
And again, I'm secluding myself, and I had to learn like, okay, I can't seclude myself. I got to get out there because, I might be that person that wants to go ahead and spark up a conversation with someone. If somebody sees me out in the open, they kind of know, hey, he looks like he's by himself. I might want to spark up a conversation with him. And that's how you begin to make new friends. You get to, learn about those new, have those new conversations with people and whatnot. So, I always think when I get ready to travel, when I'm working, I'm in it, I'm in it. I book my plane tickets, I book the hotel, and then I kind of just think about what is my mission, my assignment or my project that I'm going to be working on while I'm in that city or town, or
Right.
that state. And I never really plan to say, oh, okay, I'm gonna make sure I visit this place, I'm gonna visit that, or I'm gonna go check out, these museums and whatnot. I kind of wait till I get there and I talk to
Hmm.
the locals, which are, my team members that work in that state. And they kind of know they know about the place. So my first thing is when I get there, I get their restaurant recommendations. What restaurant should I visit? Any landmarks that I should see? Or places I should go. And, that thrill and excitement from them, they've been there. So they're like, oh, yeah, this is new to him. Let me tell him where he should go vibe at or, go visit and, experience some things, in my city or my state.
Okay, 100%. So you kind of had the plug, you had to connect through work with locals who I'm sure were more than eager to share. People love being experts,
They love it.
and it's a great way to kind of not gas them up, but tap into that expertise. Especially for people who might have. I'm sure people admire your coworkers admire the way that you've moved, even with the company, because, like I said, most people stay in one place. So when
Hmm.
you come in and ask for their expertise, I'm sure they're thrilled to be like, "Oh, wait a second, that's right. I am an expert, in this little 2 square mile area. But you know what? That's the most important person that you're trying to connect with at
The
the time."
most important person, yeah. And then it's great to see them, spark up and get excited. Like, oh, he wants to explore here. He wants to check out some things, and
100%.
they're ready for you to report back and say, yeah, I enjoyed my time doing, X, Y, and Z, and hopefully I did enjoy my time doing X, Y, and Z. So I don't have to say that was boring or that was crap.
Right, right. And I think if more people embrace that, which is why I love that we can start speaking to your domestic experience, is that more people should own their city, own their town, own that little 3 square mile area where your grandmother, went to church and that's the house that,
Yep.
you were raised in because those unique aspects, everyone's got them. And those are qualities that you own and make you you.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. So, on a cultural tip, I want to know if because Cleveland, I'm not going to say is I don't know much about Cleveland. I haven't been there, so I won't say
Hmm.
much. But in terms of reputation of cities, it definitely doesn't have the kind of stature that Los Angeles or New York or
Right.
Boston has. So, just as a black man traveling, did you find that some of your identity or values were evolved or challenged as you moved across the country through work?
A lot more evolved. I kind of say this: if I didn't get out of my shelter or the same day routines, in Cleveland, didn't start gaining those experiences very early in a specific high school that I chose to go to, in a specific college that I went to, in a career field that I just kind of landed into and just have been stuck in, I think my experience would have been a lot different. And stepping outside of Cleveland and going to different places, especially traveling, there's so much more that's out there, and just seeing the differences between my hometown, my home city, and going somewhere else was a big deal. Even Cleveland, DC, those are two different places. Cleveland and Texas, two different cultures,
Right.
and it's a big thing because I get to kind of go ahead and share my experience and my travels through Instagram. I always used to post where I'm going. People from my hometown will see that I'm going elsewhere, and it's such a big deal to them. Like, man, he's out here, he's traveling, and I kind of get to experience this with him, through his Instagram or whatever it may be. But yeah, it's two different experiences that I get, and I think the experience that I've been gaining outside of Cleveland has been such a big deal. That it's been pushing others from my hometown to get out and travel more domestically, and I've been seeing that spark. As soon as I started advertising and showcasing, my travel adventures, even just in the United States alone.
Yeah, dude, that's a huge opportunity, and really like humbling that people are inspired by what you think is just normal. That's got to feel great that you can just share, and someone has a potentially new perspective or a new curiosity to explore something else. That's really dope.
It's crazy. And you think, you're just kind of doing your own thing, you're being yourself, and you're sharing your excitements. But, that moment when I started to find out that, I was inspiring others and stuff, it was just such a big deal. And just feeling that, that pat on the back for something I thought was just kind of normal and just doing my job, but taking advantage of those opportunities that I got within my travels.
Right, and that's 100%. And one of the cool things I love about your Instagram is that it's authentic. It's just you doing you. You're not flexing mad hard. There's not 30 girls on a pic on a boat with champagne. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Some people, in I'm not going to say they're trying to overcompensate for that, but some stuff isn't realistic. And the thing I love
It's
about domestic travel is it's practical and it's achievable.
and it's more relatable, and the
Yeah.
big thing you just said is achievable. You can do it. And I tell people who say, I'm trying to save up all my funds, I'm trying to go to, Africa, I'm trying to go to Europe. All that money that you're saving up to, just understand that, when you're traveling domestically, you can
Hmm.
be using funds, um, and you can spend less, just travel domestically and still kind of get some of that international experience here, in the United States.
Right. And I just want to have you back up just a couple seconds because you cut out for a second. We love you, Anchor app. I know you guys are going to get better, but you were saying, I think, something to the effect of all that money that people are trying to save out of the country would actually sometimes be better spent within the country because your money kind of stretches further and it's more accessible. Was that about it?
That's it.
Okay, cool. We linked up. That's what it is, y'all. It's telekinesis. We bros out here traveling. And we locked in. So actually, one thing you mentioned before that I think would be really interesting for all the listeners to know is how old were you when you got on your first plane?
Oh, that's such a good question. Let me think about that because it wasn't super young either. Let's see. I was flying out somewhere. And I'm like,
Okay.
man, that's a big deal. I'm flying somewhere for an interview. That was San
Right.
Antonio, Texas, right? Let's see. I think it was, shit. I think it was 19. Yeah, I think 19.
Okay.
Had to be
19.
19. Yeah.
Yeah, when you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned it was for work, I figured it was probably a little bit older, definitely in that young adult stage. And
Yep.
I think that's going to be inspirational for someone to say, hey, I might be 22, haven't been on a plane yet, whatever. Maybe we always took road trips as a family, but it's
Man, my
never too
barber's
late to
like
start.
30 and he's just about to get on a plane. And I always sit in his chair. He's always asking me, like, yo, Ty, where you going? I know you're going somewhere this week. And I'm like, yeah, you already know I'm about to get on a plane. I'm about to go somewhere. And he just like, I just cannot get on a plane. So, I've been pumping him up, encouraging him and everything like that. And I think, and hopefully I've been some inspiration for him, but he's finally about to get on the plane in October. He's going to be heading to, Cali. And I'm like, man, you're already taking like a 4 hour flight. That's a big deal compared to somebody just getting on a flight for an hour and, going to a city, that's not too far from where you're at.
Right.
And and he's 30 something. So that's a big deal right there. And I think that source of inspiration came from our conversations as he's cutting my hair and I'm talking about my travels.
Absolutely. And everybody has their own path with their own timeline, but the positivity to encourage and to motivate and just be a resource. You know what I mean? Hey, I don't know what you're planning to do, but if there's any way I can help, let me know. That's dope. I haven't been to Cali yet. And I've been way further than Cali on the other side of the world. So I mean, he's doing it, and that should be
Yeah.
celebrated. Like that's a really positive story, bro. I love it. So let's see. So we've been talking domestic about some experiences there. I want to know about your first trip internationally, kind of what inspired you and what you got out of it. Can you speak to that?
Yeah. So, Canada, that's, I don't know if everyone, if people do consider it international, it's international. I mean, but
No, no,
it's
no.
part of
Let's
North
keep it claro.
America.
Let's keep it
That,
super claro because listen,
that's,
Canada is international, y'all. So are the islands. So are the West Indies.
uh-huh.
So is Cuba. Sometimes we get to a level of traveling experience, quote unquote, and people are like, it's just Canada, it's just Mexico. It's like, no, my guy, you need a
It's a,
passport is international for this
there
show.
we
Point
go.
Noir, it's official. So thank you
There
for
we
helping us
go.
make that claro. International.
That's
Shit.
what I feel because people they go back and they're like, yeah, it's not international, blah blah blah. But to me, it's international. And then when I went to Canada the first time, it's an international trip. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm out of the United States. But that's kind of where I first started going. I mean, I was right in I lived in Cleveland, so I
Hmm.
started when did I start shooting out there? Like probably like 17, and
Okay.
was almost there. Like I feel like I was there almost every year. Going to Canada,
Were you
Canada.
driving up there?
Driving there, exactly. Yeah. So from Cleveland, Niagara is only like 3 hours away, and then Toronto was only two more from there. So what, 5 hours?
Oh,
And
bet.
I would just
Okay.
go up there, and that's where I started kind of a lot of my birthday celebrations, and would just hang out in Toronto a whole lot. Hanging out with the locals. For some reason, when they found out we were from Cleveland, well, Ohio, they really didn't target the city. They were like, you're from Ohio. You don't dress like you're from Ohio, and I didn't get it. I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? It's like, well, isn't Ohio full of farms and cows and stuff like that? So I'm like, man, they think I'm from farm. I'm like, no, I'm from Cleveland. I'm from a city. And at that
Right.
point, I had no idea we had all these farms and stuff in Ohio. That's how uncultured I was about my own damn state.
Right. I never seen a farm. What do you
That's
mean
what I'm
a
saying. Like,
farm?
when
Wait,
I'm
let
like,
me
what,
find
a
out.
farm? I didn't know that, but yeah, I spent a lot of time in Canada, and like I said, especially Toronto. And I will always grab some friends and say, "Hey, I want to go to Toronto," and encourage them. Hey, get your passport. If you can't afford a passport right now, go ahead and get a pass card. A lot cheaper. You just can't, you can't go on a plane with a pass
Whoa, whoa,
card.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Can you back up on that?
Go
Because this
ahead.
is the first I've heard of a pass card. What's a pass card?
Yeah, a pass card. So you can travel by land and sea with a pass
Okay.
card. Passport,
Okay.
that's when you can travel by air, but internationally, land and sea, you can use a pass card and you can travel. And a lot of my friends, that either they didn't have the funds at the time, or they just, yeah, basically it was about the funds. They couldn't afford the passport. I'm like, get the pass card, and
Wow.
they come a lot quicker than passports. They're half the price basically, and they last just as long, as a
10 years on a
as a
pass
passport.
card.
Yeah, yeah, 10 years, 10 years. Yep. So
Bro,
it,
I've
it
never heard of this.
yeah, I mean, let me tell you, I'm a research head, so I was gonna find out a way for people to go travel with me, and
Yeah.
all my friends they just basically got those, and I was kind of like the only one with a passport at that time, and traveling by land and sea was just super easy, and then they started going different places and different islands and stuff like that with their cars, but yeah, man, if like that's a new discovery for you, anybody that's listening to your show, if you're it's definitely the way to go if you're trying to travel somewhere quickly, by land or sea.
Dude, that's huge. And I'm a research head as well. However, it's so valuable that you shared that because I don't know if you knew this or not. We might not have talked about it. Y'all, I've been putting the show together just every day. So I'll be missing details. But every month, we're going to sponsor a young man to get his passport.
Oh, I
And
love
I
it.
didn't even know pass cards were a thing. So that might open some different opportunities for us. And I've had my passport for years. So I've never even thought to do more research there. Bro, that is,
That's dope.
thank you. Thank
Hey,
you.
yeah, no problem, man. That's what the conversation's about. Hey, I'm just not discovering that's something that you're gonna do. That's what's up, though. I like that.
Yeah, man. So if there's anybody else and all y'all listening, anybody that you guys know, a young brother who has a desire to travel, we haven't quite worked out the details, but we need your submissions, your ideas. If you got some homies, a brother, a bae, whatever, like seriously, we're here for the culture and no agenda. Like just do good shit and that's it.
I'm here for it. If you have a GoFundMe or something like that, you expect my donation. I'll be donating for that. I think that's dope.
We'll talk about it, bro. But Passport, wow, that's a major key alert right there, y'all. It's just gonna just no, that's a gem. Um, so you kicked it to TO, which is a what's the best way to phrase it? Toronto is uh, an intensely diverse city. I don't want to say aggressively diverse, but
Hmm.
everybody's in Toronto. You could find people from every part of the planet in Toronto, right?
That's where I got the culture experience. That's where it first hit me. I was like, man, there's a lot of different, nationalities here. And I'm like, okay, I see black people, which is cool. But, I'm seeing, I'm seeing, Asians. I'm seeing, of course, people from the motherland there. Seeing people from, big Muslim countries and stuff. And I'm like, man, what's going on? And, I
Right.
met somebody from Brazil there, and everybody was just cool. And it was just like one big old, cultural melting pot in
Yeah.
Toronto. And I've never been exposed to that many different nationalities in one place. And that's where I kind of was like, whoa, I like this. I like meeting different people. I love meeting different people, especially from different backgrounds and stuff, not the same
Mm-hmm.
background. And that's that again, that kind of sheltered personality just kept opening up and opening up and opening up every time I met new people, which was great. So you're so right about that. That's how Toronto is.
Yeah, Toronto is really that. It's a hub. It attracts people. It's been doing that for a long time. So that's great that you got to experience that and didn't shy away from it. Was there anything that you saw or experienced either in Toronto or Morocco where you kind of had to have a gut check where you're like, hey, I see that dish over there, or I see this drink, or I see this person. I'm a little intimidated to
Hmm.
engage with it. Was there any moment where you were like, hey, we gotta put on the big boy pants and just conquer this?
Not really in Toronto. I can say, that's a little bit more Americanized. But when I was in, let's see, Morocco, especially in America, there,
Mm-hmm.
it was a little bit different when we're outside and where there are cats walking all around in the kitchen and stuff, basically with the people. And not gonna say there were flies everywhere and things like that, but there were a little bit more animals around our food places. In America, we don't have a cat in the kitchen with us. We don't have, animals. We're trying to get rid of all the bugs and stuff, but it was just kind of a normal thing. And I was like, oof, man, I hope that cat hair is not in my food, or, that dish is actually clean, and make sure there ain't no flies in my food. And I kind of had that, step back, but said, all right, whatever. I'm embracing the culture. If this is how they are, I want to be cool and, say, hey, what's up, cat? Even though I'm allergic to them, but I want to
Oh,
embrace this.
dag.
Right, I want to embrace this cat that keeps rubbing up against my legs as I'm eating my food that just came out. I want to embrace that cat that just walked out the kitchen. But yeah, that's kind of an experience that I had when I was in Morocco specifically.
That's funny, man. Hey, my brother Cat. Hey, my feline brother. I
Exactly.
embrace you. Now, I'm curious, just because I'm a nerd. Did you have the same sort of allergic reaction that you did in the States to the cats in Morocco?
Crazy, not at all. My allergies, I have allergies, and they were
Yeah,
just not acting up in Morocco, especially America. It was like it was it was dusty over there,
yeah.
and a lot more dirt, free flying in air, and I didn't have that allergic reaction or anything like that. So I was very confused. I didn't know if it was a place I should have been living all my life, so I wouldn't have these allergic reactions to pollen and dirt and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
no, I didn't have that. That was a good question.
That's deep and subtle, bro. It's really interesting. I'm not surprised to say you didn't have a reaction. Sometimes outside of the cultural environment, you don't realize other elements that might be present in your city where you're from in the U.S. and have these kind of curious questions like, hey, why am I not allergic to this cat but the ones at home? Why does this food break me out?
True.
What's going on here? It opens up that those possibilities where you're just like, oh, okay. So maybe when it's allergy season, I just hang out in Marrakesh for a month,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and not to speak to the differences in food quality you'll see internationally. They might have a cat in the kitchen, but that that beef got to eat grass instead of corn.
It did, yeah.
It did, it did. You could taste the clover, right?
You can taste it. It's a different quality of meat.
I love it. I love it. So if you had kind of one takeaway for how traveling so far has changed or evolved your perspective of yourself, what would it be?
Morocco was a big thing, shopping in the markets and stuff like that. I brought back a lot of stuff. You're negotiating like crazy over there. This leather bag
Right.
probably costs, so much more if we sold in the United States than what it is in Morocco, but we're still kind of negotiate those prices we want. And just to see that hustle, from those shop owners that were trying to sell you something, negotiate deals, find out what's best for you, kind of not give up on that sales for their bag or whatever it is they were shopping. I mean, that hustle in them, it brought back so much. I brought back so much of their hustle back to the United States. And when I got back, I was like, man, I can't wait to hustle with my own business. I can't wait to hustle with getting things done. And I'm just ready to get back out there and just travel so much more. That hunger was there because I felt like I picked up something um, during my travels to Morocco. And especially, the different ways, people are living, embracing that beautiful culture, seeing the beauty in just the little things and details.
Right.
And especially just the culture environment where people's interactions with each other. I mean, I still thought everybody in Morocco knew each other and there were just no conflicts or anything like that between each other because they were just so, I mean, they just knew each other. It felt like they were just family. And I brought that back and wanted to make sure I could bring that culture back to, my place of work, my family, my friends, and and bring that experience back here. So yeah, the biggest one is, that hustle they had over there. They were hustlers, and so good at it. And I loved it.
100%, man. And what better quality to bring back out of all the ones you could choose? Because I think hustle is the only way we really get what we're looking for in life. It's taking that extra step. It's having that little bit of fire underneath you to apply that grit, man. We all got it.
Yeah, we
But
do, man.
sometimes it takes watching an example to be like, oh yeah, psh, I got this.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
100%. So as we kind of close out, I wanted to know if you had any advice to someone who hasn't yet traveled or hasn't yet gotten their passport card. Shout out to passport cards, like
Man, shout out
pass
to the
cards.
past cars, man. Shout out to those.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for someone who might be kind of like your barber, who's been watching others on Instagram or has someone close in their network like you who's been traveling to, kind of get started? What would you suggest them to consider or a step they could take?
I'm gonna say just do it.
Hmm.
You if once you push yourself out there, you're kind of out there. You can't control it. You already booked a plane ticket. You're nervous about getting on the plane. You're gonna get on it because you just spent $200 something or whatever the cost was gonna be on there. You're nervous
Right.
about being in a new city because you've never been there at all. But the best part is getting lost in a place and not having a strategic plan to execute on your travels. Just having a very, when I say light outline, knowing that you're probably going to visit this one restaurant because everyone talks about it or it may be famous, but you're going to visit this city in specific and you shouldn't be planning your day to day, at 1 o'clock, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this at 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, this is going to happen, etc. If you're not flowing with it and just kind of
Right.
letting it just let it go, and you're not going to, in my opinion, truly experience the place that you're at. So, those mistakes should be there and everything, but just take the leap and jump and do it. And don't plan too much when you're traveling. Just kind of let it free fall and go with the flow of it. That's just the best way to explore it. I don't care if I was just in one town or one city and and stayed there and just experience that kind of little area. You're gonna get so many experience out of that and be able to take it back. So yeah, just go for it and don't think too much when traveling.
100%. I think that's a great perspective, and it definitely aligns with my view as just really being an adventurer and just kind of doing things. Do drive some people crazy with my lack of preparation sometimes, but that works for me. And I think for anyone who's listening that might not be as open to random adventures and the randomness of life, nowadays we have technology that's a huge advantage. So get your data plan hooked up, map out your day as much as you can. Imagine 50 years ago, 60 years ago, traveling. It was a multiple week journey on boat to get overseas. You show up, you didn't have no cell phone, you didn't have a data plan, no Google. So there are a lot of resources to fall back on. So while you're kind of in this free flowing thing, don't forget that you have a cell phone and it's 2018, y'all.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's very possible.
And there's this and last thing, there's this I don't know if you had heard of it. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. I've just used it, but it's Viator, Viator. Have you heard of that?
I haven't yet. What is
Oh
that?
man, check it out. And if any whoever's listening, check this out as well too. If you're traveling internationally, especially internationally, it kind of will, and you want to kind of map out, places you want to visit, things like that. It will kind of just it'll do everything for you. It's kind of like a travel consultant on its own. You put in the place you're going, you kind of give it a like a personality profile. I like outdoor things, I like restaurants, I like doing this. You put in a day you're going to go, and then boom, it'll start making recommendations on how you should travel there, what cities you should visit. It'll actually give you websites and links and stuff like that to go ahead and book excursions and whatnot. It's pretty
Wow.
dope, and I actually did use that when I was going to Morocco.
Okay, that's dope. Does it tell you where to buy nice threads though?
Oh man, I don't think so.
Okay, well, y'all check out this Viator app and keep your eyes open for fresh threads because I think we have something in alignment when it comes to getting some dope stuff when we go abroad. Yeah, I'm still trying to get that shirt you have from Morocco, so we'll talk about it. We'll do
All
some
right,
negotiation. Hey,
we got
I hear
it.
you're good
All
at that now.
right. I am.
Um, so before we absolutely jump out of here, I want to make sure that people know how to find you on Instagram. Your handle is at Black Phoenix 26. That's at BLK Phoenix Phoenix, the number 26. And so let's close with this. What are your next places you're trying to hit on your travel list, and what are some other projects or businesses you might have going on?
Yeah, next place is on the travel list. My very close friend, she's gonna be moving to London for about 6 months, so she's gonna be doing a a master's program over there. So I'm gonna go
Okay.
over there, visit. Never been to London at all. She's planning out a kind of a birthday, trip and excursion, which is gonna be pretty dope. So that's gonna be sometime
Word. Does
in
she need new
October.
friends or like
She
what?
needs new
Like what's
friends.
the...
Let me know if you want to come. She's down, but we're all about meeting new people. That's what it's about. But plan on trying to figure out if we're going to be traveling from there to Amsterdam, Paris, or Brussels and stuff like that.
Okay.
But that's my next one. I know you're a Paris guy, so you might be able to give us some advice. I might have to hit you up for that.
Absolutely, 100%, man. I'm here to help.
Yeah, and then I did start something. I love entrepreneurs. I love that we're out here trying to do our things and stuff and stuff like that. And I'm just all about motivating and encouraging people, just to do their best. And at the end of the day, I always have to look at myself and say, you got this shit. So I've
Mm-hmm.
taken that. And I'm always that person that gives great advice to friends and family, and I just love it. I love people, and I love giving advice. I love giving advice more so to other people than I like to give myself advice.
Yeah,
But
here. Dilly dilly. I understand, my guy.
exactly. But I went ahead and kind of started this new brand. It's called YGTS. It stands for You Got This Shit. I do
Mm-hmm.
encourage people to check it out. It is a motivational brand. It's encouraging, and I think you should definitely check out the apparel. But if you want to check it out on Instagram, it's official. YGTS, so official OFFICIAL.
Okay.
YGTS, and that's on Instagram.
Okay.
But check it out, get some motivation in your life, and you got this shit.
Dude, that's 100%. And when you when let's say the adventure gets a little bit too adventuresome, and you might have had your passport swiped, or you out of money, or you missed your flight. That's the thing right there. You got this shit. You made it this far. You can make it out of it. I think that's a hundred
Exactly.
percent right. So what kind of apparel are you guys launching right now? What kind of stuff you guys got going on? You guys got bumper stickers, t-shirts, fanny packs. What's up?
Yeah, we got t-shirts. T-shirts are the way to start, and a variety
Okay.
of different colors, especially those heather colors, which is great. But t-shirts
Right.
right now, especially for our queens and our women out there, we got some Razorback tank tops, some tank tops for guys as well. Depending on where you're at, in the states and the climate, we got hoodies too, and my favorite, and I think people should get and have them at work for sure. Is that you got this shit statement mugs. So it's right
Mm-hmm.
there, remind you every time, especially for you coffee drinkers, or you just want that piece of decor piece on your desk. That's what we sell right now. So that's what we're kicking out.
100%, man. And y'all don't know, when I do these interviews right now, we have a very, very light talk beforehand. So I just found out he had this brand, had saw it on his Instagram stories this morning. But I need to get laced up, my guys. So I like to wear a hoodie on top of my tank top just so I don't hurt anybody's feelings when I'm going to the grocery store. So
Oh,
definitely gonna need a tank. And I think it'll be real inspirational that when I pour my Henny, the mug says, "You got this
come
shit," just so I'm
on.
motivated. You
Now I got
know,
to do that. Now I got to do that. I'm not the Henny guy. I'll go ahead and be throwing some Patrol in there, but I got to do that now.
hey, listen, that's all about it, man. I can't wait to support. We'll talk definitely after this. I feel like I had one more thing I really wanted to ask you about. So, in the whole, oh yeah, have you considered checking out Asia or Africa? Some people have interest of the world that they love. Some people don't. Outside of London, do you have any other continents you want to hit off?
Oh yeah, I definitely want to visit Asia for sure. But my biggest dream,
Mm-hmm.
I want to visit Sydney, Australia. I really, really do. I mean, the Opera House is all I want to see. I told you I come from that arts background, and
Yeah.
I just, it's just, it's such a beauty. And that's my. Once I know I go to Sydney, that's where I wanted to be. I did it. I got my craving for international traveling. Not going to say out the way, but that was my goal, and that's my goal travel destination. So I'm not sure when I'm going to go there yet. It's going to happen
Mm-hmm.
soon. I'm gonna make it happen. But Sydney, Australia, I definitely want to visit that, man.
Speak
That's
on
very
it, brother.
exciting.
Speak it into existence,
Yeah,
man. Yo, thank you so much for chilling with us. And y'all, I hope you follow Ty as he eventually journeys to Sydney. Watch the journey and definitely support. You got this shit because you
for
do,
sure.
dude. I think that's 100%. That's real, bro. Dude, thank you so much for spending some time with us here at the point. I hope you enjoyed it.
Definitely did.
And dude, we'll be in touch. All your info will be in the show notes for y'all that want to get hold of him. And yeah, this has been another great session at the point. Appreciate it, bro.
All right, no problem, man. Thank you for having me.
Always, man. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Peace. See, that's what I'm talking about. Dropping gems and major keys for the culture. Thank you, Ty, for coming out. Talking to us about pass cards, man. That's a game changer, for real, for real. Y'all, a pass card today costs $65 if you're over the age of 16. A passport costs you $145. Definitely going to take that information and put that into action. So I hope you guys listening will do the same too. Remember to check out Ty on Instagram at Black Phoenix 26 and his brand You Got This Shit YGTS at official YGTS on Instagram. Hope you guys got a lot of value out of that episode. I really love talking domestic travel because it's practical even if you love traveling overseas. Again, you can't be across the ocean all the time, so check out your nearest hostel. Just go to a bed and breakfast. Maybe find the craziest Airbnb you can and chill for a weekend. Throw a little kickback. Invite me, but throw a little kickback. Let's keep it fun. Let's keep these experiences new and fresh, and let's all enjoy different experiences together. So, as always, I hope you guys got a lot of value out of this session 5 here at The Point. Until next time, I'm Jerry the Third, signing off.